Today we're in central Gothenburg, interviewing a prop tech company that's rethinking how we use building materials. That company is Palats. Alright, so I brought some Fika, questions, and some lagom amount of ambitions. So what to do? Let's talk to this startup over the Fika. You know, like the name of the channel. Alright, thank you Henrik for taking the time to meeting up with us. I've got some questions, but more importantly, I've got some Fika. So let's, dig in.
Ja.
Det måste vara färdig.
Nej, nu rasar den ut. Ja, lägger den där så länge det blir bra.
Yeah. Alright Henrik, so I brought some Fika and now it's time to talk about your startup. So how would you explain what Palats does to your grandmother, for instance?
Yeah, so it's the really simple explanation of what we do is that it's a sort of an internal marketplace for large corporations. So they can see what they have internally that is not being used currently in the same way that they would look for new products. So it becomes just as easy for them to use all the chairs that they have in their storages, for example, as it would be to go and buy a new one. Yeah.
And your grandmother would understand all this?
I'm not certain, but yeah, it's basically showing what you have in store that you already own. So yeah. So
very interesting idea. I definitely didn't hear of someone attacking this kind of market before. How did the idea of Palats come to life?
Yeah, so we started at education called Chalmers School of Entrepreneurship, and there we were introduced by a real estate company that they had a lot of building materials that they save for them to be able to reuse it instead of throwing it away and buying new things all the time. So then they initially pitched like a marketplace like Blocket or Craigslist, but for companies. But when we went out and spoke to the companies, we saw that they don't want to become resellers of materials. That's not their business. So then we instead began looking at how can we actually make them circulate the products internally instead. So yeah, I've been doing that for 4.5 years now. So yeah.
And how was that journey in the beginning? How did you get these first customers?
The first customers are always fun, but the first customer that we got was Vasakronan, which is one of Sweden's biggest real estate owners. So we pitched what we were doing for our classmates, and one of them had a summer internship at Vasakronan 2 years ahead, and he was in charge of keeping track of all the furnitures that they had internally that they used to furnish offices that they rent out fully furnished. So he was the person who had the pain himself, and then he introduced us to his manager then. And we just walked with her and saw how she worked, and saw that this is actually something that we can help her with our platform.
That's crazy, just talking to your colleagues and
yeah
I have someone.
Yeah,
right?
But that's how you get your first customers. The second one was one of my co-founders' mother knew a person who had a problem as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the ball started rolling. And since that, these first, 5 years ago, did you say?
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And how much bigger has the company grown until now, team-wise, with money, if you're comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, so we're 17 employees now. We have we're 15 today, but we've employed 2 more that join us after the summer. We had a revenue of almost 7 million SEK last year, looking to at least double that this year.
Congrats.
So yeah, it's
Let me
growing.
know if you're looking for another employee.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now that we've spoken about how successful your company is, right? Here comes a real question, a difficult one that I think give you a minute or two to think about. So who do you think would win? 100 humans or 1 silverback gorilla?
The gorilla, probably.
The gorilla?
Yeah.
What do you base these assumptions on?
Humans tend to overthink things, so yeah, it would be really hard for 100 humans to compete against 1 gorilla, yeah.
Gorilla go smash.
Yeah.
All right, now let's just talk a bit back on your company and what you guys have been doing. So what's one tool or system that you guys can't run without. Let's not talk about ChatGPT, but other than that.
Yeah, but to be honest, ChatGPT is the one that I use all the time. But we also have a tool that we use to support our employees in meetings that's named Fireflies. And it's an AI tool to transcribe things as well. And that saves a lot of time.
So how have you like integrated Fireflies into your
so
workflow?
Fireflies like join all our digital meetings. And then we have a portal where we can see it's like a summary of all meetings. So you save like 2 to 3 minutes on each meeting that you have, and if you have a couple of meetings a day, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, that's a good one
Yeah.
for you guys to add to your portfolio.
Yeah.
All right. What's been harder than expected since starting Palats? What's like the biggest challenge?
So the hardest thing initially was to like focus on one thing, to start with something. Because when you start with a big vision, you want to do all things to create or reach your vision directly. But it can't be emphasized enough how important it is to like focus on something and do that really good, and then move to the next thing.
What were those things that you guys focused on?
We did a lot of things,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons I believe we could have done what we've done now in like half the time if we were a lot more focused initially. For example, we began developing a tool to take inventory, but we also developed a lot of other things at the same time. And if we would have niched on like the inventory thing and only done that initially, we would have gained traction in that segment a lot faster, so we could move to the next one.
There's also a lot of learnings in doing these other things, right?
Yeah.
So not completely empty-handed.
No, not at all. But it's more that you can do the learnings, but you gotta bet on something first, because we were quite lucky that we were really early in the industry. So for us, it was almost good that it took a bit more time than it could have taken, because then the industry wouldn't be ready for the product we have now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And how does it work now with the business model that you guys have?
Yeah, so it's a very classic B2B SaaS model. So our customers pay us an annual subscription. So they pay us 1 year ahead, and it's a license for the platform.
And do you do a lot of customizing for each?
No.
Or you just have the platform, they use it, and they're happy?
And almost
Almost.
happy. Yeah. Not always, but we do our best.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone starting out in your industry, what would it be?
It's an industry that's built up by a lot of like personal relationships. So when you create the digital products, it's hard to understand how important like relationships will be. So it's to actually get out and know the market and the people in the market. That's something that I would have done. We did it quite a lot, which is probably why we learned a lot in the beginning and actually managed to do something of value initially as well. But I would have done that even more, like just being out with the people with the problem.
Get out of the building.
For sure, for sure. And make sure that you actually solve a real problem for them, not what you think is a problem, but what they actually have as a problem.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And if everything goes right, what does Palats look like in 5 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. But we're gonna go outside of the Nordic region now, is the plan. So we have some clients in Finland and one in Denmark. We're gonna expand more there as well. But what we're really trying to solve is the circular economy between companies. So in the future, we have a network of reuse resellers, which means that you can go in and buy new reused products with the same service as you would buy a new one. And that's a service that we want to provide through our platform. And in 5 years, I hope we're there.
Yeah, let's hope you do.
Yeah.
I am cheering for you, and I hope you back at home.
Yeah.
Also. All right. Well, that's all the questions that I have. Do you have anything else you want to say to the...
No, but it's really fun to be a startup founder. You have to work a lot, but you also learn more than you can do anywhere else. So if you have an idea,
do it. All right. Well, this has been Startups Fika, where we have Fika with startups. Cheers for that one, and see you in the next one. All right. Tror du det? Nice.